speaker, and I will say yes to them all. I'm super excited to be here on the show with you. Maroon 5 sang cold, and I'm thinking the weather is pretty hot. It just feels like, boy, ish. Is it just me? It's just me. It's not just me. The weather is hot. And yeah, talking about hot, the FCT apparently is taking is having a facelift, if I put it that way. A lot of construction work going around. I went to a neighborhood somewhere in Asokoro. I haven't been in that neck of the wood in a while. And you know, somewhere you've been to and you're sure you know your way there. And then, you know, I started getting all confused and all the diversions and all the works going on there, such that even when Google Map was telling me to go left, I was like, Google Map, it can't be left, it has to be right. And I didn't listen. And I went round and round and round. When I eventually listened, I just realized there was a lot of work going on, a lot of diversion and new entry and exit points, such that when I came out from the Asokoro end, I found myself in Gariki already. I was like, all right, this isn't how we used to connect before. So kudos to the FCT Minister for all the work going on in the city center. And I'm sure those who stay in the FCT, the area councils within the FCT, we want to see that level of development in other parts of the Federal Capital Territory also. Welcome to the show. And we'll start off as usual with the roundtable, looking at some of the big stories driving conversation in the country. And to help us wade through the big stories of today is Mr. Bode Gbadebo. He's a journalist, he's a political analyst, and a whole lot more. He joins us on the roundtable to review the big stories. Bode, you are welcome. Delighted to have you on the show. Yeah. Yeah, you know what? I was a little surprised when you said Happy New Year. Like, how is it possible that you have not been on the show all through? I mean, this is the fourth month of the year.
Yeah. I've not been here.
Wow. All right.
I had some reason to come around.
Okay.
For bottom line.
Okay, bottom line.
Yes.
Yeah, all right.
Occasions also.
It still counts as something.
For the roundtable,
first time.
This is our new year.
All right. We need to make it up then.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for making it to the studio.
It's my pleasure as usual.
Yeah. And we are live on YouTube and Facebook today. Yesterday was just YouTube, but today I've been told we're live on YouTube and Facebook. Our YouTube is at Nigeria Info Abuja. Facebook is at Nigeria Info Abuja. And we're on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Abuja. Our Twitter handle is at Nigeria Info ABJ. Let's start off with the politicking going on in the PDP. From their neck to their caucus meeting, and it feels like some people are showing their full face and their full chest attending the meeting, because a lot of people are wondering how it's going to play out when you have your neck meeting. You know, feelers that came out yesterday from the meeting they had where Otom was accosted by Dino Melaye, and all of the impression like, oh, you guys were acting all anti-party during and before, during, and after the election. How dare you show your face here today and all whatnot. But apparently some of these actors that you think, you know, would want to excuse themselves from the party are still pretty much the key players in those parties. So as the main opposition party, the PDP holds its crucial National Executive Committee meeting. There are a lot of thought and unease over what the outcome of the meeting would be and how it will shape the future of the party. The uncertainty is not only connected with the battle for the soul of the party by critical stakeholders who are working to take over the reign of the party and position themselves ahead of the 2027 general election. According to Section 31, subsection 1 of the party constitution, the NEC consists of over 100 members, including the party national chairman, who is also the chairman of the NEC, the president, the vice president, who are members of the party, the chairman, secretary of the board of trustees, and all members of the BOT who shall have no voting right. And then you have the principal officers of the Senate who are members of the party, 2 senators from each of the geopolitical zones who are also members of the party. And, you know, it's well detailed who makes this up. The battle for the control of the party is between the camp of former Vice President Atiku and the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. The game has now changed, with governors elected on the platform of the party, especially those in their second term, also said to have formed a bloc to take reign of the party. And so It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. People like Wiki showed up yesterday. I mean, the feelers that came with Autumn, they were talking about, oh, we will support this person for 2027. Tinubu deserves it. And how are you still in the party and not for the party? You would think they would have resolved some of these things after the election and put their acts together.
And return back to their former position as bona fide
How are
PDP
they
member.
playing politics like they're just starters?
Very, very strange way of playing politics. You know, this topic has dominated discourse since yesterday, especially on the social media. There was a comment I saw, I think on Facebook, that caught my attention. You know, somebody was trying to say, hey, stop castigating Wike, that we should rather look at Wike as a new phenomenon in Nigerian politics.
Really?
And he deserves to be studied. And I said, oh, on the second thought, I said, okay, this could be true. But I, ruminated and I couldn't find what we should actually study about Wike as far as this politics, his own style of politics is concerned. Now, this is a PDP member holding a grade A position, a very senior position in the APC government. A minister, not just a minister, a senior minister, and minister of the Federal Capital Territory. And for me, I said, well, this man can only be a mole, as far as I'm concerned, in the PDP. Because he's serving Tinubu. So will he also plan with the PDP, his party, to undo Tinubu in the next election?
Exactly.
Certainly no. Because if we want to retain his position for another 4 years, if at all he's allowed to serve out this current 4-year tenure. So I look at it and say there's nothing to be studied. This is strange and alien to politics of morality, if at all there is one. If at all there is one. So very, very alien. Because when Tinubu started, he said, I will not constitute a government of national unity. I will only constitute a government of national competence. I don't know if you can remember. Okay,
Yeah.
Let me take you back. Under the administration of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, I can't remember vividly whether his first tenure or second tenure, but there was a point in the life of that administration that the president decided that, hey, we have to unite the country. I need to form a government of national unity.
I recall.
And invited.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people were calling for him to do that as a way to just bridge the gaps.
Cement the unity of the country. And he invited opposition political parties to nominate persons to become part of his cabinet. There was this man, at that point in time, a northern, I think from Gombe State, I can't recall his name. He was the national chairman of Alliance for Democracy, AD. He was made a special advisor to the president, a cabinet rank, position. He was a member of the Federal Executive Council at that time. There were ministers also appointed from other political parties. Now, Obasanjo told the parties to nominate, and the parties, on their own volition, put forward the names of persons that will represent them in the government of national unity. In contrast with what we are having now, Tinubu already told us that our will not be forming a government of national unity. It will be a government of national competence. Now, I will look at people in their faces. If they are competent enough to work for me, they will work for me regardless of their political affiliation. Eventually, Wike is the only person from at least a known political party to be appointed into the cabinet. And you know the reason why. Tinubu won Rivers State. You know what that means for them. And Wike was rewarded. So PDP was not asked to nominate anybody for government of national unity. Tinubu, on a personal level, on a personal note, on a personal relationship, asked Wike to join him. So Wike is not representing PDP in APC government. And that is why, that is more reason.
I mean, how do you
he should not continue to be a member? He can only be a mole. And that's why you see people like Dino Melaye fuming, people like Honorable, this guy from Imo State, representing Idiato North, Idiato South Federal Constituency, Ikenga, Imo Ugochinyere.
Okay.
You know, for some days
yeah.
now, he has been leading a coalition of 60 lawmakers calling for even resignation of the current acting national chairman of the PDP, Ambassador Ilya Umar Damagum, and also asking that Wike, Autumn, and the rest of them should be sanctioned for working against the party and having the boldface to also, remain in the party. Well, but from what we can see so far, the party lacked the balls, the courage to sanction anyone. So the party might continue to undo itself.
How is it that you're saying that the party lacks the courage to sanction anyone? Obviously, you have people that would be profiled as mole, already acting, against whatever the
objectives of the party.
And you're saying that the party does not have the strength or the will to excuse these individuals from the party. Why? Is it about the funding at this point? Or, I saw placards of people who are protesting that the party, PDP, is no man's property. But it's giving that impression that this party belongs to a handful of people who can be kicked out, like they built it. But PDP has been there before some of this. A number of people built it.
Exactly.
So how is it that you have people who are so powerful, even though they're working contrary to some of the things that the party represent, but they still cannot be excused, even though they refuse to leave?
The trick is very, very, it's not rocket science, but not easy. If you have a financial war chest and you are able to use it.
Even till now?
Yes.
What war chest does he have if we're looking at, for example, the FCT minister? He's not directly in control of the resources of Rivers State, like we would say he was.
So he's now directly in control of the resources of the FCT. So what's the difference between FCT and Rivers State?
Rivers State has more
both
money.
Geographical locations with administration with resources for anybody to also control. The only difference is that Rivers State, as currently constituted, has somebody with a designation of a governor, and Rivers State House of Assembly. While in Abuja, you don't have a designation called governor of FCT, and you don't have FCT House of Assembly. But then the man at the end of affair is wielding similar powers.
Yeah.
He has a budget to himself. He award contract like the governor will award contracts. So what are you talking about? He has financial war chest. In fact, one of the allegations is that he has already bribed people with dollars.
Allegations,
like I said, to actually do his bidding. And people like Imo Ugochinyere actually saying this is a precursor to the policies of 2027, that already Wike is planning to take over the party and trade it easily for Tinubu in 2027. But nobody seems to be bothered. Nobody's taking Ugochinyere serious. So that's why you still see Wike joining them even at the highest level of the party, meeting with them. Meetings that ordinarily should be highly confidential, and they are still part of them. So whatever they discuss, do you want to tell me if the president called his minister and said, tell me what you discussed last night? The minister will not be obliged to talk to his principal about what his party discussed last night, because that's where he's eating food currently. So our politics is a very, very strange one. Very, very strange one.
Really strange indeed. I was surprised when I saw Senator Dino Melaye. He put up the video of the former governor of Benue State actually endorsing the current administration, the current president, for a second term in 2027. You're already selling him ahead of time. He hasn't even told you he's interested. He has so much work on his table right now, overwhelmed with it. We don't know if he's going to want to.
Exactly.
And then you're already saying he deserves and ought to, and you're still within the PDP. Make it make sense. Is the PDP dying, killing itself? Because at this point in time, who's going to take the party serious?
PDP might be dying. You may not be far from the truth, because anyone, whether an individual, whether an organization, political party, even a country as a whole, Nigeria as it is, whenever you choose to flout your own rules, it's a gradual way to disintegration, gradual way to perdition. So this is a party that have been flouting rules, doing things upside down, and now the past is coming to haunt the party.
Indeed. All right, aside of looking at the PDP, let's see how all of it pans out after the NEC meeting. Would there be some bold move and tough calls eventually when the party leadership is well defined and all of that, or not? Well, would get to see, but would love to get your 2 cents, your opinion on that particular one. Yesterday, we touched a little on Yaya Bello and the attempt to have him arrested by the EFCC. Lateef Fagbemi, Attorney General of the Federation, has warned against obstructing the EFCC. This comes a day after Usman Ododo, governor of Kogi, rescued Yaya Bello, his predecessor, from the EFCC siege in Abuja. The EFCC operative had restricted movement in and around Bello's house situated on Benghazi Street in Wuse Zone 4, Abuja. Hours later, Ototo arrived at Bello's residence and was reported seen leaving with his predecessor. In a statement today, Fagbemi said the bizarre drama confronting the EFCC as it tries to perform its statutory duty has become a matter of very grave concern to him. He said the EFCC has the power to invite any person of interest, regardless of status, and the course of its investigation into any matter. And a flight from the law does not resolve issues at stake, but only exacerbates it. I state unequivocally that I stand for the rule of law and would promptly call EFCC and indeed any other agency to order when there's indication of any aggression or transgression of the fundamental right of any Nigerian by any of the agencies. But I also tenaciously hold the view that institutions of state should be allowed to function effectively and efficiently. Nigeria has a vibrant judicial system that is capable of protecting everyone who follows the rule of law in seeking protection. I therefore encourage anyone who's been invited by the EFCC or any other agency to immediately toe the path of decency, civility, by honoring such invitation instead of embarking on a temporizing self-help and escapism that can only put our country in bad light before the rest of the world. I mean, Mr. Fagbemi is speaking as the Attorney General. He issued a
statement this morning.
Indeed.
And I was very, very happy about it because it's a very, very quick intervention. Less than 24 hours, at least we are hearing from the right quarters.
Yeah.
This did not happen in the immediate past administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari. It is a clear departure that at least something good and tangible is happening. And this coming from the AGF, the number one law officer of the country, is a very, very good development.
I mean, if you look at it, you allegations against the former governor, and you said, and I know he's the former commissioner of information, say he's squeaky clean, but it's not your job, Commissioner, to tell me who is clean or not. It's the job of the people who have tabled allegations against him to take him to court, and then all of the back and forth defense and argument to proving if indeed there's any substance to the claim at all.
When you are clean, it's even easier for you to present yourself for probe and explain yourself with confidence and live.
For now, a lot of Nigerians are invested. I, for one, want to see what happens next.
Of course. Even though the EFCC too cannot escape some blame, because I think it has been dramatizing the whole thing too. It's part of the drama. The Abalo was in Lagos last week on his Salah homage to President Bola Tinubu in his Ikoyi home. So if you are aware, we saw him on television, we saw the photographs. You can pick him at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. You can pick him there. You can lay ambush for him and pick him. But I know they've been trailing him, and yesterday they trailed him. They were sure he was at home. They came to arrest him, and there was a standoff until the time the current governor of Kogi State, his successor in office, and his political godson, Ahmed Usman Ododo, came, used his political immunity to ferry Bello to safety, in quotes. That's also a very, very bad omen. Very, very bad thing to do. And the statement of the Attorney General of the Federation also touched on that people protected by the law, interfering with agency of government in the course of carrying out lawful duty is disquieting. In fact, if not because this is Nigeria, anything goes. It's a country of anything goes. Very, very unfortunate. Ahmed Usman Ododo, the current governor of Kogi State, has committed a serious crime that can be kept in the cooler for him until after 4 years or 8 years, as the case may be, when he's out of office, and he can be tried for it. Or you don't know that it's a criminal offense to obstruct, to stay in the way of, agent of state and prevent them from carrying out their lawful duty. Very, very serious offense. But this is Nigeria. We forget easily. So...
But how do we correct this, Bode? Because it's not the first time we've seen attempts to arrest certain people, high profile, politically exposed government officials and the likes of it. And we've seen, that deliberate attempt to frustrate the effort. Yes, sometimes, these agencies, we can see a bit of high-handedness and a little too much drama around how they go about it. But then you see people who will stay back in their room, even though they've gotten several invitations to come around. It's not like a surprise visit. Come and answer some questions, no show. And then they go to their residence, and then there's like a... They just lock themselves in. We've seen reports where they'll be forced to break in to get them out.
Yeah, it has happened before. Remember Senator Rochas Okorocha?
Okorocha is the mental picture I have in my head.
Government house in Abuja here.
But how do we correct this? You serve people and they're asking you, okay, come and explain certain things that happened under your tenure when you served. What's the big deal in that?
Well, we cannot take away the drama and its attendant, spectacle or implication. But then there is no way you can force someone, or there is no way you can know the mind of anyone. Now, the FCC has done the right thing by extending invitation to you, and you are refusing to come. It went to court. You also, approach a court, telling the court to stop a government agency from carrying out its constitutional duty. So the only way we can stop this is the judiciary. Judiciary is the enabler. Yesterday...
Is the enabler?
Yes. At about the same time, EFCC, was laying siege to Bello's house in Zone 4. Wuse Zone 4 in Abuja here. A Kogi State High Court ruled on a pending case as at that time. Bello already, instituted a case in Lokoja trying to enforce his fundamental human rights. And incidentally, that same yesterday, there was a judgment or ruling of the court that, don't arrest Bello, don't prosecute him. I don't know what the wisdom is that. If I thought anybody has a question to answer, what is the wisdom in saying, don't touch him, don't arrest him, don't prosecute him? And at about the same time again, just about 1 hour later, a federal high court in Abuja also ruled to the contrary that, EFCC, arrest Bello, produce him before us today, Thursday, to answer for his crimes. These are conflicting judgments. And you may say from courts of coordinate jurisdiction, even though one is of the state status, one is of the federal, status, but they are both high court. It is unnecessary. So the NJC, National Judicial Council, need to do a lot of work and tell these judges, you should know the right thing and do the right thing. Don't complicate matters. Don't dramatize matters. The same thing is happening as we speak on the matter of Ganduje. A Kano State High Court, on Tuesday saying, okay, a group had instituted a case before us. We will listen to them. But before we listen to them, status quo should be maintained. And that status quo should be that of what happened as of April 15 when Ganduje was announced suspended from the party. Now, today again, a federal high court in Kano has gave a contrary ruling that Ganduje should go ahead to enjoy his membership of the party and remain his... So, these are confusion. This is confusion, and it's unnecessary. If at all we are working for the same goal of sanitizing the system of national development, this ought not to be, but it's happening. Why? Probably money is exchanging hands. Probably there is influence peddling. Because it is you might be excused, but because it's me, I'm a male gender, I'll be asked to go and serve punishment. Why? Same human being, same crime. But one is a female, one
is male.
You need a lot of understanding. On the lighter note, people are already complaining about Bobrisky and Cubana chief priest. That why should Cubana chief priest be admitted to bail and Bobrisky should be sentenced to 6 months jail? But in that case, people need understanding.
Well, one said he was admitted guilt.
I'm guilty.
The other one says it's not guilty.
No, I'm ready to face trial. I want to defend myself, so,
Yeah. So the different plea is the reason why he went out that way.
Exactly, the difference is very clear.
The minute Cubana said he was not guilty, but
judiciary need to do a lot of soul searching and cleansing to save us from this unwarranted
Because
dramas.
I can see how to do a lot of heads in when you say, okay, one court would say the same level of jurisdiction, and then you're coming with different interpretation. Well, it depends on whatever argument or whatever is taken to the next
But they will tell you it's about the fact presented before them.
It, yeah.
And they will always have an escape route to tell you, see, the fact I have is different from the facts before the other court. And that's why our judgments are, contradictory.
Well, let's get a few thoughts in via telephone and on the stories we've looked at so far, starting from the PDP matter to the EFCC/Yaya Bello attempt to have him arrested, which was resisted by the security around him. And you even start to wonder how they work, the security agencies and the likes of that. One order will say, okay, we've been asked to bring him for questioning. And I'll say, okay, our job is to secure him and protect him. You can't take him at that point in time. Quite interesting. Kamar Fatah, I see you. Ezekena said the law seemed to favor the high class while it crushes the poor masses. Nigeria scenario. Smith Ken says one is using paper as a fan. Yes, we're working on the air conditioning in the studio. Once it's back on, the fan would, forgive me. I didn't even notice that. I forgot we had camera.
They saw you.
Yeah. We're working on the air conditioning. Sorry about that.
Thank God it's no Naira notes
yeah. Oh, my goodness. I will not be arguing if I'm guilty.
Naira abuse.
Yeah. Now, the law seemed to favor the high class. Okay, we read that already. And on YouTube, St. Patrick says you cannot serve two masters and expect those who are loyal to the party to welcome you with open hands. Secondly, if truly PDP is indeed a party that wants to come back to the top, they need to expel Wike now. What happened at Yaya Bello's residence yesterday shows that some people are above the law in Nigeria. How on earth can a state governor go and rescue a man accused of alleged corruption? Aliu Garkida says, I welcome your guest. PDP is dead. About EFCC and Yaya Bello, former governor of Kogi State, as a drama. Nothing will come out of it. It's the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria. And Asiru Abbas says is it that some people are above the law in this country? Law and order, that is the way to go. Bulus Isua. Oh, please on the studio AC. They are working on it. They will turn it on.
Well, are they affected?
You see why I love radio? Now that we're making it virtual, I forget that we have a camera and people can look into the studio. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, Nakim.
Good afternoon. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you very much. This is Ola, the Hindu Bishop. I'm calling from Central area presently.
Welcome, Ola.
Yes, thank you very much. You said that there are some comments and we listen to on radio. Even if you are hungry and angry, the hunger and that hunger just vanish. Even if it is momentarily, you understand? So I mean, the comment of your guest in the studio is exactly one of those. I'm talking about when we were talking about what is happening in PDP because I think the next meeting. You see, he actually hit the nail on the head and he spoke very, very well on that particular issue. It is only in this part of the world that people do things as if they're just larger than life. How would some people, stay in a party, claim to be members of the party, and they're working for their position, not clandestinely, not nocturnally, I mean glaringly to everybody to see, and for everybody to see. Some people like Wike and Soto, and these are the guys that still, want to say one or two things. That's what's happening in PDP. It is an aberration. Then lastly, with what is happening, what happened to Bello and what's it called? His postage. Let me just use that way. Well, let me just borrow from what the kid normally say. Call it work. Democracy can't work. Democracy in Nigeria is just like pitch making. We're just restricting ourselves. Let me allow for other people to talk. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much.
Did you say democracy can't work?
In this fashion.
So whether it's the democracy that is enabling this abnormality we are seeing? Not at all.
It's not. It's the characters and the actors.
It's about us, our behavior, and how we choose to partially implement our laws. Not democracy as a system of government.
All right. Let's hear this other caller. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is David from Federal Housing, Lugbe.
Go ahead, David.
You see, your colleagues in the studio just a few hours ago spoke about unity in Nigeria. You see, what is, let me, the man there at the studio, he has spoken well. You see, honestly speaking, I don't know what is wrong with our court. The court in Nigeria is the problem that we are facing. They contributed a lot to the failure of politics or democracy in Nigeria. Can you imagine a court having another counter judgment? When there was a system judgment, another court will counter it. What is happening? What is NJC doing? NJC is just a toothless bulldog. Because most of these things they're supposed to take over from all this counter judgment. It's very, very wrong. How would we move? We talk about unity. How would we move? This kind of thing cannot give us unity in Nigeria. Honestly speaking, on this show, honestly speaking, it's a very sad, it was a sad development. Imagine a sitting governor coming to rescue a governor that has no immunity. It's wrong. They are making this job so difficult for AFCC. Why are we like this? And they even invited their policemen from the government house to come and guide him. From Kogi State government house to come and guide him. Why? Just to answer a simple question, the governor all the way from Kogi to come and rescue an ex-governor, immediate past governor. Is that going to move? Honestly, it's a very sad development. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Let's hear you next. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, you're welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
Onyeka Schneider in Kuje.
Go ahead, Onyeka.
Thank you very much, my sister. Let me just start from conflicting judgments. We've been seeing that, but I don't have, they even have all the judges, whether they have a good relationship within themselves, because before one has given the first order, he might have known that this is what is happening. Why is it giving contrary to that? They should have in a good relationship, which is very, very important. For the Yaya Bello, I think he should not call himself a white lion any longer. You know, a white lion should be able to face whatever he wants to face. I remember the issue of Fayeshe when he was leaving government. EFCC was there. They put satellite everywhere to just the party. He wear the cloth and say, "Come and catch me. Look at me. I've already gone in office." And the matter is on, and he's not going freely until when they prove him that he has committed whatever. He's going freely. So wherever you summon courage to come out, I'll be bringing the present governor to come and help him, because he was the one that put him in that office. And that present governor, just like your person in the studio, they are your guests.
Mr. Bodigbadibo.
The governor doesn't know what he committed now until when he leaves office. Thank you very much. This is what I want to say. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon. It's Kingsley.
Welcome, Kingsley. Hello. Are you still there? All right. Let's hear another caller. Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, the Oracle.
Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bode.
Good afternoon.
My name is Alasi. Sincerely appreciate your great contribution. The way I'm seeing, it's like PDP is going to a station. With the way things are happening, because in fact, a lot of things are happening in that party that doesn't seem not to be controlled. It's like the party has become an orphan that have no one to be taken care of. So whoever that have the big pocket are the one controlling the party. I'm sorry. Now, in this country, we don't have the opposition. Then come to the issue of what happened to Yahya Bello yesterday. You see the number of security men, but look at what happened in Kaduna, in Burnangwari. They have been kidnapping people. In Katsina, nursing mother, pregnant women are being kidnapped. Why can't they at least borrow the security to go and rescue these innocent people that have been suffering from their ancestral home? They can't go to farm. But they don't allow people to even have access to their families. They have been kidnapping every day. Here in Kogi, a vehicle that was traveling the day before yesterday, the driver was shot. 16 people were kidnapped. We are talking of the people who have been killing. They have been killing people in Kogi. They are supposed to see the governor using this energy in order to secure the life of the people that work for him. But What are we seeing? Reverse is the case. God help us.
Amen. Thank you very much. Hello.
Good afternoon, Tim.
Yes, you're welcome.
Afternoon. My name is Musa.
All right, Musa, we're listening.
We don't Nigeria. There's nothing new. I recall that in 2007, Dr. Odili obtained a court judgment perpetually that nobody, no government agency will ask him, how did you manage the resources of River State? And up to today, Dr. Odili has been enjoying that. He obtained a perpetual judgment. Nobody. So there's a precedent in this. These things have been going on, and other people coming are taking a cue to that. Okorocha locked himself inside house, refused to come out. EFCC broke everything. And by the end of the day, EFCC couldn't prove the case in court. The same thing Yahya Bello now, if he surrender himself to court, EFCC cannot prove this case. Because look at it, they are even use all this time, all these senior advocates that Yahya Bello will take to court. They will now ask that does EFCC have right to ask Yahya Bello about what is the whereabouts of Kogi State resources that he did not touch federal government money. I mean, there are so many things. These are our laws. People like the man in the studio who went to big school like this, they should help us to draw good laws and I educate people. Because all this one is drama. Yahya Bello, nothing will happen to him, even if they pick him. In fact, they will, after some time, they will bail him out. They will start replay again, they call it, or whatever. From there, Yahya Bello will still come out and contest election and come back. So all this one is drama. Some of us are tired of listening to all this type of thing. Thank you.
All right, then. So let's look at one more story quickly, and we'll take more calls. And it doesn't seem like we've heard the last of EFCC threatens to involve military in Yahya Bello's arrest. So it's taking interesting dimension. But why should it even get to that? It's making EFCC look helpless, like they can only go after social media influencers and not after these other kind of people at this point in time.
Well, it's a situation we found ourselves. I think that is what the commission told the Federal High Court in Abuja today when they asked about the accused, and they said, well, we couldn't lay our hands on him. This is what is happening, but we might require the support of the military to actually smoke him out from his hiding place.
All right, let's... The federal government, through the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, have stated that the various claims by different individuals and groups on the alleged return of subsidy on petroleum motor spirit, popularly called petrol, were wrong. The government also challenged those who make this argument to provide evidence to justify the allegations, stressing that since President Bola Tinubu has declared the end of subsidy on petrol, the situation remains so. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineke Lokpobiri, stressed that fuel subsidy was a sensitive issue. What is sensitive about fuel subsidy matter?
He has shot himself in the foot.
Exactly. Like you're making it sound that is one highly classified government
information.
Exactly. I mean, we are feeling the impact of the fuel subsidy. It's nothing classified or sensitive about it. It's something that requires open conversation, as a matter of fact. Well, going back to what he said, but notice that the government has made its position known on the matter. Lokpobiri reacted to the claim of the former Kaduna State Governor of Marketers during a live television interview monitored by correspondents. In the clip, Lokpobiri insisted that petrol subsidy has ceased to exist and urged those who alleged that the government was still subsidizing the commodity to provide evidence and facts. That's his position. We know some days back, former governor of Kaduna State said that the government had resumed the payment of subsidy on petrol, and he even gave a figure that they're even paying more than they used to back in the day. Oil dealers also pointed out that the current cost of PMS at filling stations should be around 900 naira per litre if there were no subsidy in the commodity. The price, according to them, is because of the recent appreciation of the naira against the US dollar. And the pump price of petrol is currently between 600 to 700, depending on the area where you're getting it from. But given how we saw the disparity in the naira dollar for, some months, and yes, even though it's dropping, and then also some international fluctuation in price and all of that. But this has remained consistent at this window, between 600 to 700. It gives the impression that there's an intervention because it's not possible that a lot of these variables would not affect this.
So we're shouldering the responsibility or the shortfall. Who is bearing the cost?
He didn't come out to say. He just want us to know that there is no subsidy payment. And
no, he already said so by saying it's confidential.
Oh, so nobody should talk about it.
And that also validates El-Rufai's assertion that there is subsidy payment going on.
But El-Rufai isn't the only one.
Exactly. A lot of people have said it in the past that, see, Nigerians may never even know the truth about fuel subsidy regime. It is true that it is fraught with corruption. A lot of people are eating there and eating stupendously, they become stupendously rich from that scheme. But then, nobody so far has the political will to do the right thing about it. And the right thing is fight the corruption that is associated with the regime. If it's possible, you can keep the regime, the subsidy regime, all over the world. There is nowhere where you don't find one thing or the other being subsidized. So there is it's not new. But people say, no, it's not sustainable. What is not sustainable is the humongous amount we are claiming to be spending as fuel subsidy. But the question is, are we truly spending that amount judiciously and it is on fuel subsidy? The answer is no. Now, I am more at home with El-Rufai's claim on this matter than what a minister of the Federal Republic is saying. And not just ordinary minister of state for petroleum resources, oil, who is the most concerned. Because by uttering the word confidential, like I said while we were talking, he shot himself in the foot. He's trying to say, see, there are a lot of hierarchy, how do they call it?
Abracadabra
about the whole matter. So Nigerians can never know the truth. And the more we don't know, the better for them to keep enriching their pockets. And while we keep lamenting. As I was coming to work earlier today, I wanted to stop over somewhere, refill my tank. I couldn't. Not because
Why?
there was no fuel. There were four, stations working, but few queue everywhere. And I had appointment. I couldn't, stay back to say I want to queue for fuel. And I was asking myself, despite this amount,
you're still queuing.
Why this? What happened to the product availability? So,
I mean, if you look at some people who are arguing back then and say, is it not better we pay more and then the product is available? I didn't know how to tell them that you're going to pay more and you still will not be there.
So what are we talking about? Where is the argument about availability? So government has not come clean about the whole matter, and government has not been living above board about the whole matter. And I will give you further, all their promises about Port Harcourt refinery becoming optional have been reneged upon. The more they promise, the more Port Harcourt refinery don't. Tinubu said times December, January, whatever. NNPC, GCOE said, Lopobiri said, and Port Harcourt refinery remained the way. So what are you talking about?
I mean, they moved it to April, and this is April.
They keep shifting. We are about finishing April. Today is 18 days away. Except some kind of will happen. I don't think that refinery industry of this. So what are we talking about? We're not really serious about this. We want to have a discussion or conversation about this. We should know the things to talk about. If truly fuel subsidy regime then was fraught with corruption, let us have the figures. Take away the corruption. Then who were responsible? We want to see them being arraigned before the court of law. Let them pay for their actions. You can't just come and tell us, all this why? Corruption. But I'm stopping it and nobody's paying for the crimes. It's not true.
Well, we've always talked about impunity in Nigeria.
And you should also,
get away
exactly, that's one. And you should ask yourself again, what will make a person like General Muhammadu Buhari, one-time soldier, one-time governor, one-time oil minister...
Was governor of what?
Governor of Northeastern State. He was not a governor. He was a governor. He was a petroleum minister before becoming president. Not that man with his standing, everything. Before getting power, he was no, subsidy was unsustainable, corruption, unlimited and the rest of them. And he couldn't implement subsidy removal for 8 years. You need to ask why. And that's what we talk about confidential. He will never know the truth. It's like a case of the more you look, you see. So you can see we're already about fuel subsidy.
Indeed. Talking about fuel subsidy being the issue. Very funny. I mean, the same subsidy that in 2012 there was a mass protest that affected a lot of people. How sensitive can it? I mean, this is where we should be having town halls, having conversation as parties, making and how we can fix certain things.
Why we don't need it, or why we don't need it. But we we don't get the service as at when do you are people in their pocket. And those they have accused siphoning money previously, deleting what to themselves. Nobody's asking them, what are you talking about?
Well, that's the question. The security will not allow you. They're not trying to ask you. Just simple question, come and answer. And you have to now call your person.
And I almost said, the man, there was a caller who actually raised a germane point that we see, even if they arrest Yabelo, nothing will happen. I was saddened.
Yeah, because you've seen it before.
Yeah. When he started a culture, after the drama of breaking into his house, and where is he now? He's a free man. Even though there is a pending case in court. But for how long do you need to gather evidence to put a man to trial before you can convince him or you can ask him to go? He's innocent. How long does it take?
I mean, we've seen some take as long as a decade, 10, 11 years.
So we need to work on our justice system. It needs to be reformed. The judiciary as a whole needs a lot of reformation. It's making it difficult. It's making the job difficult for agencies like EFCC, which I want to believe now is actually interested in working. So I've seen some sign that is actually interested in working.
What is the sign?
Well, I've seen people trying to move close to the president, but the EFCC is telling them, well, we don't care. Okay. We're coming for you.
All right.
Previously, the moment you move close to the president, is a body language.
You are forgiven. To
the EFCC then that don't move close. And they will not move close. They will respect you for that. But things are changing. I think it's a welcome development.
Indeed. All right, let's hear this caller quickly before we go for the news and so come back with more. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're welcome.
Good evening, Chief.
Good afternoon. What's your name?
My name is Keith and I'm calling from Maraba.
Go ahead, sir.
Oh, these dramatical things that is my country. It's so unfortunate. It's very so unfortunate, Kimberly. Papa, we are the young ones that are coming. Can we continue with this kind of dramatical thing that is happening in our fatherland? Do we have hope? How can we young ones who are coming? I don't know the future that they are talking, say young are future. I don't know it completely. See the kind of drama they are using our money to dramatical drama. It's one of football dramatically. In fact, football drama. For God's sake, Yahaya Bello. Oh, see the kind of shame that they are embarrassed this country. So I cannot go outside Nigeria because I can't see this embarrassment. They will be abusing me in outside. I'm telling you the truth.
So you rather just stay inside and cover your face in shame. All right, let's take a break for the news. At the top of the hour, Joy is already standing by. We'll be back in a bit. Stay with us.
This is Nigeria Info.